Question 1. Solve the simultaneous equations by drawing graphs. Now, we have two equations here. They're both called linear equations. They're called linear equations because they both represent a line, okay? So these are called linear equations, okay? Now, the first thing you need to do when you're drawing a linear equation is you need to find 2 points on the line. You need to find the x point, followed on a y point. And you need two of them to figure out where the line is. So if you join 2 points together, you find the line. That's simply the way it works, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to get the red line is the first one we're going to get. To get the red line, what we simply do is we replace x with 0. Because we replace x with 0, the 2x disappears. This leaves minus y equals minus 1. Multiply both sides by minus 1 and you get y equals 1. This is the point 0, 1. Next part is we're going to use x equals 0. Or sorry, y equals 0. So when y equals 0, you blank out the y. And what you're left with is 2x equals minus 1. Therefore, x has to be equal to minus a half. This point here is minus a half, 0. Next line we're going to use is the blue line. The blue line is here. So we're going to put once again x equals 0. When x equals 0, the x will disappear. And what we're left with is minus y equals 1. Therefore y equals minus 1. This is the point 0, minus 1. The point after this is we're next going to put y equals 0. So put y equals 0. And then what we're going to get is you're basically blanking out the y. And this will mean x equals 1. This point here is the point 1, 0. Okay. Now there's nothing left to do but draw the graph. The first thing you need to do is draw an xy axis. Now, we unfortunately have a fraction in this question, so we have to use minus a half. To counteract the minus a half, what we're going to do is we're going to go up in steps of 2. By going up in steps or blocks of 2, it means you can draw the half quite accurately. Okay, so we're going to get here is minus 1, minus 2. Down here is going to be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Now, the first thing we must draw will be the first thing we're going to draw is the red line. Now, to make sure to get a more accurate line, what you need to do is minus a half. Just use a very small dot. Very small dots give you better answers. That's minus 2, 0. The other red line was 0, 1. So that's 0 to 1 up here. Next thing we're going to do is just going to get out a ruler. Like so. And the ruler is going to have to be lined up properly to make sure that it goes through both points accurately. So just got to get the right amount of steepness and then move it into position. And just about in right position now. Okay, so you're going to draw your line through both of them, okay? Now you might have to continue the line over a bit because you didn't make it long enough, so you just got to keep continuing that line. And there it is there, okay? So that's your line there. Now, the next thing we got to do is draw the blue line. And the blue line has 2 points on it. So the 2 points are 1, 0 and 0, minus 1. 1, 0 is this point here. Make a small blue dot. The other one is 0, minus 1, which is this one here. You're going to make a tiny blue dot again. Once again, you're going to get your ruler and you're going to draw another line, this time a blue line. You got to check the steepness of it. And now we're roughly correct. Now just got to move this down a little so that the intercept. And this time around, we have a blue line here And we can see that the interception point occurs at -2, -3. So the point of intersection is -2, -3. Now, this is me drawing the simultaneous equation by graph. To check my answer, I could always just solve the simultaneous equation. So if I go back up and take down my two simultaneous equations, so the two simultaneous equations are 2x minus y equals -1 and x minus y equals 1. So I'm just going to drag these down for a minute. Actually, I won't drag them down because they disappear. So look, I'm just going to rub this out for a second. And what we're going to do next is we aren't asked to do it, but we're going to do it anyway just to check the answers. We're going to solve this equation, okay? Now, I'm choosing to get rid of the y's. To get rid of the y's, I need -1y, and I'd ideally like +1y underneath it. At the moment, I have -1y underneath it. So I need to multiply the bottom equation by -1 and change all the signs. So now what I'm going to have is I'm going to have x equals -2. Okay, so x will equal -2 when you add it directly downwards. Now that you know that x equals -2, what you can say is x minus y equals 1. Therefore, -2 minus y equals 1. Bring the y over the other side, bring the 1 over, and what we'll get is 1 equals -2 minus 1. Y will equal -3. -2 minus 3 is the same point we got for the intersection. Okay, two small mugs and one large mug weigh 758 grams. 4 small mugs and 3 large mugs weighs 1,882 grams. The weight of the small mug is S grams. The weight of the large mug is L grams. Write down two equations which connect S and L. Okay, to get the weight of two small mugs is 2 multiplied by the weight of one small mug. One small mug. So one small mug is going to be 2 small mugs is going to be 2 multiplied by S. Now, one large mug is going to be plus 1L, and that equals 758 grams. Next part, 4 small mugs, that's going to be 4 multiplied by S, plus 3 large mugs, plus 3 times L, and this here equals 1,882. Now, here are your two simultaneous equations. So we just, after doing this section here of the question, we've written down two equations for S and L. Now we got to solve what S and L are. To solve what S and L are, we need to get a letter to get rid of. I am going to get rid of L. When I decide that I'm going to get rid of L, I write a little mirror in between the two L's. The top L sees 3 and the bottom L sees 1. So we're going to multiply the top equation by 3 and keep the bottom equation the same. 6s plus 3l equals 3 times 758. That's 3 multiplied by 758. 2,274. And the other one remains the same for the time being. Now, at the moment, the equations don't cancel each other, because when you add them down, you'll get 10s plus 6l, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the l's to disappear. So to make sure the l's disappear, what we're going to do is we're going to change the sign on one of the equations. We'll change the sign of the second equation by multiplying it by -1. Minus 4s minus 3l minus 1,882. So we're going to get next is 2 small mugs and 0. There's no large mugs left. This will equal 2,274 minus 1882. And what you get here is 392. Okay. Therefore, S equals 392 divided by 2. And what we get is 196 grams. The small mug equals 196 grams. Now, we have to find out what the large mug is. So to find out what the large mug is, we go back to the top and get one of our equations. So we might just use this one here. Okay. So if we use the very top equation, and we'll just use a different color here for this. So we're just segmenting this section off here. 2 times the small mugs is 2 multiplied by 196 grams plus 1 large mug, that equals 758. So 1 large mug, sorry, 2 multiplied by 196 is 392. 392 plus 1L equals 758. Next, 1L equals 758 minus 392. And 758 minus 392. 306. Is that? Okay, so 758 minus 392 is 366. So L therefore is equal to 366 grams.